Shalom. Erev Shabbat Kodesh. Welcome to Eretz Yisrael. I'm Avraham Shira. In our little talk this week, I thought we'd mention an idea that has been cooking around inside my brain for a little while. This idea of meditation or medication. So I call this little talk Medicate. Meditate or medicate. Choose wisely, choose Shabbat. Okay, what are we talking about here? Let's go back to the beginning of man. Let's go back to the beginning, the way we were created in the beginning. We were created perfect as we were. The only thing lacking was we did not have true knowledge of separation. In other words, we were one with God in the beginning. Our personalities were innocent and pure, whole and complete. Except we had one thing missing: the knowledge of what it's like not to be whole and one and complete. And without that knowledge, we could not appreciate God in the same way. That's what it means to be kicked out of the garden. To be kicked out of the state of perfection in order that you can appreciate the perfection. It's not such a bad deal, except it's taken 6,000 years to work itself out. But really, that's where we're from, and that's where we're going. And that's why the rabbis say that every Jew has a portion of the world to come. And so do the righteous non-Jews have a portion of the world to come. And that's not my idea. That's Eliyahu Navi and many other great sages from the past. Okay, so if we were created whole and perfect and complete, with purity and innocence, and the only thing missing was the knowledge of what it was not to have those things, well, I guess we had to fall to get that knowledge. Okay, that's the setup from the garden. So we had perfect balance and peace in the beginning. We spoke to God just as easily as you speak to your friend. They fell, they ate from the tree of duality, the knowledge of the separation. All of a sudden, God was running through the garden. He was outside them. A duality was placed between man and God. So our goal is always the same goal: to get back to that wholeness, that completeness, that balance, that inner peace with the world. Does that mean I don't want to change the world? No, it means I want to do the best I can. To be the best I can is to change the world. Now, how many people are truly there on that path? How many actually make it? I don't know. It's a hard statistic. You won't find it with all the political statistic makers. It's not on their list. But many people are on the way. And that's what counts. That we're in the right lane on the highway, in the right direction. And that's all God asks of us. And like Vince Lombardi said, if you pursue perfection, you won't get to perfection. You'll get to excellence. And excellence is why we were created, because we're taken from excellence. Now, what does this all have to do with meditation and medication and choosing Shabbat? Well, first let's understand very briefly, meditation is a huge endeavor today, and it comes in many forms, many teachers, many disciplines, and all of them have their merits and all of them have their question marks. The Kabbalah, the ancient mystical tradition of the prophets of Judaism, they have their own systems of meditation, and they're quite astounding actually, but they're not for every person. However, there is meditation for every person, each on their level. But the word meditate means to come to the center. To come to the center of things. come to the center of self. Mediate, meditation, middle. It's all in the same Latin root. Okay, so when we come to our middle, then we're going to find that balance that we had in the beginning. And if we find the balance, then, well, assumedly we would find the peace. And we would have the way back to the beginning. To that pristine state that was so joyous and so sweet and so astounding that you don't need anything to get there except you. But the real you, and a few helpful suggestions in deep breathing, in posture, in mental patience, in control of the mind, and letting go of certain things. Okay, we're not going to do a class in meditation today because I assume most of you know something about meditation. I'm sure a lot of you know a lot. It was one of the reasons that I first explored Judaism 30 years ago. Because when I heard that the prophets used to meditate in order to hear God speaking, I said, now that sounds like a good end game. You know, if you can hear God speaking, then maybe I'd be a good person. Maybe I'd know what to do with my life. Well, and here I am. Okay. Now, but the central point of meditation is simply that I have what I need to get to balance and peace. That within my system, I'm already created with the ability to achieve internal balance and peace. Peace in my emotions, peace in my thoughts, peace in my relationship to myself, to the world, to my family, to my community, to my imagination of things, which is always a problem. Because the imagination is oftentimes not so accurate. But I can still make peace with my inaccuracy and my imperfection. Does that mean I allow myself to continue the same mistakes? No. It just means I take a proper position to personal growth, where I'm not beating myself up. Okay, so the idea of meditation is I have what I need within through deep breathing, relaxation, focus, emptying the mind, emptying the inner ear, emptying the vision plane, purifying my nose, the things I smell, purifying what I eat. All of these things contribute to our meditative center. And they're all things that I can do on my own in the middle of a desert island. I don't need anything, not even a coconut. Okay? Now, on the other side of meditation is medication. Medication is where I'm not in balance, I'm not doing so well, I'm not feeling so good. And so I look outside myself. I have a headache, I look for that pill. I have a cold, I look for that pill. I have an inner angst with life, I look for that smoke. I have an inner anxiety with what this day will bring. Well, I have this to drink. And so for every state where I am not in balance, where I'm not at peace, I can reach for something else outside myself. That's a form of medication. So I'm using external things to try to get back to where I want to get to, which is my internal peace and balance. But instead of using my inner capacity and the tools that have been brought down to us from many great people before us, I'm looking outside to what the doctor and the pharmacy offers, and to what the drug dealer offers, and to what the culture offers. All kinds of things to make me feel better. To get back to where I want to go. And yet what happens? Those things that I take from outside me, they actually don't give me what they're being sold to me for. The drink or the smoke or the pill or the trip or whatever it is, it gives me a little a little micro experience, a little temporary experience of what I'm after, but then it's gone. And oftentimes there's a price I don't want to pay. So I get a placebo experience of my inner peace and balance and patience. A placebo experience means I take something and it works on me only because I believe that it's going to work on me. So the drink or the smoke or the pill or the shot or whatever you're taking, God forbid, it gives you just enough to keep you coming back for more. And that's good business for a lot of other people. But it's not good business for your body and your heart and your mind and your wonderful, godly soul. So we have meditation, doing the internal work to receive our center, to sit in our center, to be at peace with life. No matter how bad your life is, I can tell you something worse. And no matter how good my life I tell you it is, you can show me something better. That's just the nature of conversation. But nobody's willing to change in their life for anybody else's pretty much because there's too many unknowns. And the unknown is one of the great fears. Okay, so meditation is using our inner strength and power and tools to reach our ultimate center, balance, and peace. And medication is the opposite. It's using external things to try to achieve that inner state of balance and peace. And what we get is a placebo experience that is short-term and, well, has usually a pretty steep price. So how does this take us to Shabbat? My friends, God gave us a day to do this work. He gave us 25 hours to meditate and pray and sing and dance and learn and breathe deeply and to sit with your kids on the floor and stretch and to experience life without the stress of the external world. On Shabbat, I don't want to take in the external world. Everything's done before Shabbat. Everything's there. I don't need anything external to reach that state of pristine peace with the world that I had in the beginning when I was just a soul in heaven. So God knows what He's doing. He gives us the perfect day for the perfect, I call it meditation day, right? You know? And that's what it is. And if you go to the synagogue, you have a book full of prayers. But every one is really a meditation if you treat it that way. And the same thing when you bless over wine and over bread, and you bless your children, and you bless your wife or your husband, and you thank God for all the little creatures that provided you with that meal. You know, a little cow, a little chicken. And you thank God for everything. And in that state of gratitude, you open the gate. But Toda b'sha'arim yavo. Right? We come with gratitude to God and the gates open. The gates of the Beit HaMikdash are open when you come with gratitude. A Toda offering is just to thank God. Nothing else. No obligations. So, you know, on meditation day, let's use it for such. Let's not get distracted by the world. Let's not bring, and it's a test. Look, we have guests and we have desires and we have curiosity. We want to know what's happening in the world and we haven't watched the news in a long time and all kinds of little distractions from the real goal. But when we understand that the real goal is to be attached to our Creator, then what's happening with the pandemic and with the politics and with the armies and with the navies, it's important. But one day a week, we put it aside. And that's the brilliance of God giving the Jewish people the Shabbat. And, I feel sorry for my non-Jewish friends who don't have Shabbat. Because Saturday is just like another day with less work. But it's a different day when you don't drive anywhere, and you don't answer your phone, and you don't turn on the TV, because then I have to be with myself. I have to be with the people around me. And that needs to be enough, because that's the way we're created. And when I get that I have enough within me to reach back to that angelic state of the garden, when I have all that I already need to get there, I don't need to medicate, and I can just meditate. And if you try it, you'll see it's true. Next time you have a headache, instead of taking the pill, meditate. See what happens. Now, you might have a bad headache, you might have a migraine. There's all levels that we have to deal with in this world. But I've noticed over and over, if I just pause and go where I need to go, then, things get better faster. And I don't need to reach outside myself. And neither do any of you. So Shabbat is the day, and that's now, coming very shortly. And the time is 25 hours that you get to choose. The Talmud says that every Jew is a king on Shabbat. Why? Well, I don't have a palace. I don't have all these, accoutrements of kingship. No, you're a king on Shabbat because no one else can tell you what to do. That's what being a king is. It's just you and the upper king. And you get to sit at your table and receive the world. And that's what kings do. So I bless you to sit at your table and receive the world. Because Hashem is only right there at the end of your fingertip and in the point in your heart. And we'll be back here next week with our daily classes of Rabbi Nachman on Patreon, on YouTube, Facebook, Inside Time, or Web Yeshiva. And what other outlets will have me. But God bless you all and have a great Shabbat.